My happy place right now, Adam, is just envisioning Vladdy running through the Rogers Center screaming, "This is my house."
So Andrew says there's a long-term relationship to consider with Jose Berrios. You just signed him to a long-term deal, and then the first season he's here, he gets benched in the playoffs? Come on. Stripling has been amazing, but he could be gone next year. Do you want Berrios upset with the team? Stripling could piggyback after Berrios, like Chris said. Chris Black, by the way, from Sportsnet, was on the show earlier this week. I think he leaned towards Berrios with a short leash. So what are your thoughts on that, Scott? I know you like this comment. You
I
hashtag
really like that
mailbagged it
comment.
yourself. So
Yes, I did. It's a great comment, and it is a little wrinkle within that decision making of whether you go with Stripling or Berrios. When the chips are down in that wild card series, of course, it has been talked about ad nauseum. When it just you look at the wild card series and you envision that game 3, who's going to go? Obviously, Manoah and Gosman are game 1 and 2, most likely. Game 3, who do you go to? And personally, I've been leaning towards Stripling. So a few things to unpack in Andrew's comment here. Number one, this front office prides themselves when it comes to long-term contracts on making a decision based on the person. This is why they went out and got George Springer, is that it wasn't just the production that he has on the field, it's the character within the clubhouse. Jose Berrios has been hailed as very similar to George Springer when it comes to that sort of outstanding character, team first guy. I think that Andrew makes a very good point with the psychology of a long-term contract when it comes to Jose Berrios, and you don't wish to ruffle this guy's feathers, who is going to be on the team for 6 more years if he takes the opt-out, right? Or if he doesn't take the opt-out, I mean. But my general feeling, in all honesty, is you go with who you truly believe is going to give you the best chance to win. If that's not Jose Berrios, you just need to hope that you made the right decision character-wise in signing him. Because if he's going to be a big baby and throw a big fit and be a disruption in the clubhouse because of this sort of decision, I just can't see that happening. I can't see him being that guy, especially when you look long term. And when I say long term, I don't even mean next year. I mean for the playoffs. Jose Berrios is going to pitch. Like if this
we
team
talked
is
about
going
this
to
with
go
Chris Black, right? Like we're going to need 4 starting pitchers to
100%.
take us deep in October.
So if this team is actually going to be a World Series contender, if they are going to play games in the ALCS, Jose Berrios is going to be a major contributor in getting to that point. Truly.
I mean, yeah,
Game 1 starter in the ALDS probably doesn't pitch in the wild card, which means not only is he the Game 1 starter, he's probably the Game 5. So maybe it does make sense for Jose Berrios to pitch Game 3 because you trust Ross Stripling more to go Game 1 and 5 when the chips are down. It is going to be incredibly interesting to see how this management team lines up the starting pitch and come the playoffs.
There is, until you get into like Game 6 or 7 of the World Series, like you're not going to be skipping starts on those 4 guys, right? Like they're all going to pitch the whole way through until the very end. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I don't think there's any low stakes playoff games. Like it's, Berrios is either pitching the Game 3, the deciding game of the wild card series, or yeah, he's pitching the opening game of the ALDS against Justin Verlander. Just like either of those games feel like a "we don't trust you" demotion slap in the face kind of a start.
Yeah.
I think
we talked about this. I think it was Long Toss on how they will set up the starting pitching. And I really do believe that this is going to be much less rigid than maybe a lot of us fans envision. I think that Alek Manoah is obviously our game one starter. If I'm John Schneider, I loosely have Kevin Gausman lined up for game two. If Alek Manoah wins game one, I'm flipping the script. I'm going with Ross Stripling and hoping that they can get through this wild card series in 2 games and leaving Kevin Gausman ready to go for game one in the ALDS. There may be a TBD on game 2 and 3 starters when we go into the wild card series. It's not at all impossible that they leave it very loose with the way they're going to line things up.
Yeah. I mean, I almost have more confidence in Ross Stripling than I do in Kevin Gausman at this point, to be completely honest, at this point in the series. But the only pitcher that really makes me nervous is Jose Berrios. So.
Yes, he is the big question mark. And I mean, obviously you're not talking Mitch White and Yusei Kikuchi. These are 2 guys that we're probably not going to see in the playoffs at all. One of them will most likely be on the playoff roster in case of a blow-up, but very unlikely that we watch them pitch in any sort of leverage situation.